All right, let's dive into the incredible hidden world inside every plant. I want you to imagine that every tree, every flower, is like a bustling city. And just like any city, it needs a transportation network. Well, plants have two major highways working 24/7. And today, we're going to explore them both. So, have you ever really stopped to think about it? How does a massive redwood tree get water from the ground all the way up to leaves that are hundreds of feet in the air, completely defying gravity? Or how does a potato plant, which makes its food up in the sunny leaves, get all that sugary energy down to a potato growing in total darkness underground? Well, the answers are all about these two incredible highways. So first up, let's take a trip on the water highway. This is the system that moves water and minerals on a one-way trip, straight up from the soil to the leaves. And the engine that powers this whole journey? It's a process called transpiration. Now, the most important thing to get about transpiration is that it's not a pump pushing water from the bottom. Nope. Think of it more like a powerful engine that's pulling from the top. As water evaporates from the leaves, it creates this incredible suction force that literally yanks the whole column of water up the plant behind it. It's pretty amazing. Okay, so the journey has three main parts. It all starts with absorption, where water soaks into these tiny root hair cells. From there, it gets transported, pulled upwards through the plant's internal plumbing, and the journey ends with evaporation from the leaves. This whole continuous process is what we call the transpiration stream. And here you can see that whole pathway in action. Water comes in through the roots, travels up the main stem, spreads out into the leaves, and then poof, it's gone as water vapor. The crucial thing to remember is that it's one continuous, unbroken chain of water molecules all the way up. Now, the exit doors on this water highway are these tiny little pores called stomata. But, this creates a real problem for the plant. It has to open these pores to breathe in carbon dioxide for photosynthesis, but every single time it does, it loses precious water. So it's this constant, delicate balancing act, all controlled by these clever little guard cells. So what are the actual pipes that make up this water highway? Well, they're called the xylem. This is the dedicated plumbing, the tissue specifically designed to move water and all those dissolved minerals from the roots all the way to the top of the plant. And the xylem is just brilliantly engineered for this job. Get this, the cells that make it up are actually dead. This creates a completely hollow, open tube for water to flow through without any blockages. The walls are also reinforced with this super tough waterproof stuff called lignin, which gives the plant support and stops any leaks. It's all about moving a lot of water, one way, as fast as possible. Okay, Highway 1 is covered. Now let's switch gears and check out the second highway, running right alongside the first. This is the food highway, and its job is to deliver all the sugary energy made in the leaves to every single part of the plant that needs it. We call this process translocation, and right away, it's totally different from transpiration. Why? Because translocation is an active process. The plant has to actually spend energy to make this happen. It's not just passive evaporation. It's a deliberate power delivery service for sugars. And this delivery service runs between what we call sources and sinks. It's pretty logical. A source is where the sugar is made, usually the leaves. A sink is anywhere that needs that sugar to grow or for storage, like the roots, fruits, or even brand new baby leaves. What's really cool is that these roles can actually switch. In the spring, for example, the roots can become a source, sending stored sugar up to help the new leaves get started. The tissue that makes up this food highway is called the phloem, and here is the single biggest difference from the xylem. The phloem is a living tissue, and it has to be because of all the active work it's doing. So let's look at its structure. Phloem is made of living cells that are connected by these things called sieve plates. They're basically just walls with little holes in them to let the sugary sap flow through. And this is the important part. Every phloem cell has a little buddy, a companion cell, that's packed with mitochondria to generate all the energy needed for the active transport. It's a really sophisticated living system. Okay, so we've traveled both highways. Now for what is maybe the most important part, especially if you're studying this for an exam. Let's put these two systems, xylem and phloem, head-to-head and really nail down the differences. This table just lays it all out perfectly. First, substance. Xylem moves water and minerals, phloem moves sucrose. Second, the cells. Xylem is made of dead, hollow cells, while phloem is made of living cells with their little companion cell helpers. Third, direction. Xylem is a one-way street, only going up. Phloem is a two-way street, going up and down from source to sink. And finally, the process.
Xylem is driven by passive transpiration, while phloem uses active translocation, which needs energy.
So, if these are highways, do they ever get traffic jams? Or speed limits? Oh yeah, for sure. The speed of the flow, especially on that water highway, is massively affected by the environment. Think of it like a traffic control system.
There are four big factors that control the speed of transpiration. More light and higher temperatures, both speed it up. More wind, that also speeds it up, basically by blowing away the humid air right around the leaf, which makes more water want to evaporate. The only thing that slows it down is high humidity. I mean, it makes sense, right? If the air is already super damp, it's way harder for more water to evaporate into it.
All right, let's wrap this all up. If you're ever in an exam and you get one of those big 6-mark questions asking you to compare transpiration and translocation, this is it. This is everything you need for that perfect answer. So to recap, just burn these key differences into your brain. What does it move? Water versus sugar. What's it made of? Dead xylem versus living phloem. Which way does it go? One way up versus two-way everywhere. And how does it work? Passive evaporation versus active energy-burning transport. If you can explain those 4 points, you have absolutely mastered this topic.
And that leaves us with one last thing to think about. These systems are incredibly efficient, but they're not indestructible. So what do you think could cause a total catastrophic traffic jam? Things like a really bad drought, a disease that clogs up the vessels, or even just physical damage could bring the whole system to a halt. And that could be life-threatening for the plant. Something to chew on. Thanks for joining me.